And welcome back. We have on the left hand side Team Gangbang Gangerang, and on the right we have Team B. This is just a friendly matchup. I think we're just going to keep a loose score, and that's about it. So let's just see on Infernal Shrines first pick. Currently, just if you lean more just purely meta side, you want to just kind of get rid of, like, you've got your Genji, you want to get rid of your Uther, your Ariel. But then again, like on a map like this, you can do really well with some of your solo Shriners. Like you've got your Sonya, who can easily just, if you got a 4-man who can push into a lane, capitalize on a kill. And then you got your Kerrigan, who can also, I mean, she's not the most strong hero in the game, but she does have the ability to clean up on the shrines. First ban out of Gangbang Gangerang. Not even hovering, I'm curious. So there's the Uther. So they can squelch out one of the top tier heroes. It still leaves your Ariel, your Rhaegar. I was actually just questioning this earlier. I don't know why, but it's mostly because I don't play support. I'm not sure why Lucio like fell so quickly out of the meta. If it's just Ariel, Uther, and Rhaegar just kind of fit currently where we're at. I don't know. That's just one of the things that I noticed. Counterban coming out, since it is a 3-lane map and there is, you know, enough, you want to have a lot of lane presence and lane pushing, Dehaka ban wouldn't be too bad. They're going to go ahead and take the Genji ban. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Gangbang Gangerang to be picking up the Dehaka here. He's just extremely useful on this map. The push power that he has, he can easily report to, you know, he can be in top lane and just burrow down into bottom lane if there's a shrine that pops like that, so he can push to the extent and really be that nuisance. But that's definitely that, or, I mean, you could just pick up like your healer at this point, but I feel like you're just giving away too much if you just avoid it. Then again, I've never casted or seen either of these teams play, so that's the other factor. Tassadar is actually picked up first here, and interesting. He is an extremely strong solo laner. He's great to provide vision to his team, as well as a solo Shriner too, because of the fact that he can put down a Psychonic Storm and easily just whittle down those skeletal defenders. Response pick out of Team B here. Not too sure what they would be leaning. I guess you could pick up easily. You could pick up your Ariel and then just go ahead and pick up Greymane as well. Those two would not be. Ooh. All right, so they go away from the healer, but they definitely pick up the Greymane. And Greymane itself, like, he's also a very good solo Shriner, and Anub'arak's just a solid tank at this point. He's extremely hard to kill. He's got an out. He's got just armor for days. So. And then post 10, if he takes web wrap, the utility to, if you have, I mean, I don't foresee a solo Tassadar healer, but or support, but you never know, because he can just web wrap the healer, and that just completely shuts down an entire team's just ability to sustain an entire during a fight. And also, depending on which healer you have, locks out whatever utility. So if it's a Malf, there's no more fear of tranquility. You can go in full force till that web wrap is unraveled. So Dehaka is picked up here. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see... Okay. I always kind of lean Lunara, but obviously Vala is probably way better of a pick. She pairs well into the Tassadar rather than the Lunara, so it's probably I mean, then they can also Ariel. Oh, Ariel's actually being hovered right now. I was gonna say they can grab the Ariel, but they're already gonna. Team B is gonna just deny that right away, or at least they're thinking about it. No, they're actually going to lean more into the Arthas. So, I wonder if they're thinking that they themselves will pick up the Ariel next, because they do have the next pick. And that would actually pair well into the Greymane, and if maybe they can get someone else to fill up Ariel as well. Because they already have a solid tank. I mean, they could go with something like a Stitches to peel some of that front line away, and then have once that front line's peeled back and separated, you can easily get that Greymane into that back line Vala Tassadar. Mostly Tassadar. But ban-wise, out of Gangbang Gangarang, they could choke down the support, like they've already done, or they can take out like a Li Ming or actually Gul'dan actually does way better on this map than Li Ming, so I should actually adjust my own view on that, because he has so much wave clear and he's a strong shrine clear as well. So definitely what they're going to want to look for here is maybe an off tank, but definitely a healer. And that Ariel is still up for grabs. They do have that opportunity to take it. I can't see... I'm just trying to think if there's any other tanks or anything. Like, there's a lot of people, like, there's like 68 heroes at this point, but it's like, you would never think that someone's just going to pick up a Rexxar. So there's Lunara, and that's the Ariel. So those two pair well together, as well with the Greymane. Lunara having that amazing ability, if she does so choose to go Leaping Strike, to get into that backline, and, I mean, if she whittles down that Tassadar real quick, then at this point they've got something to worry about, because they still need a solid main tank. Arthas has been banned out. So at this point, Tyrael's always up for grabs. Tyrael's fine. He's actually really good at these choke points on Infernal Shrines as well. And then you could maybe go another off healer. Maybe that would work. Technically, with the Greymane and the Lunara, you could maybe roll a Lili into this. But they're definitely going to need, I think, some either support or off support. And then they'll need like a solid tank like Tyrael. So maybe a Rhaegar, Lili, but definitely I think a Tyrael. Because the Sanctification is really useful too. There's Rhaegar. And actually Stitches. So there was actually the Stitches I was thinking about earlier, because of the fact that he can actually peel that front line away. And that gives the ability for Vala, Dahaka, and Tassadar to kind of get in there too. And I wonder if they'll go... I mean, I don't know if it's viable, but Bloodlust, it's always cool to see it. On the side of Team B, they've got a lot of... They've got a well-rounded tank. I think maybe an off tank here would be pretty good. Like, I don't know if it's actually even popular or anyone plays it right now, but Artanis wouldn't be too horrible here. The swaps to get that Vala out of position, then once that happens, their damage numbers go way down. And then the Tyrael's also open too. I mean, you could just go ahead and take him. I think it's going to be the Tyrael, though. No way! It's going to be Illidan. Okay. All right. This is completely different than the draft that I had casted earlier. Alrighty. As people choose which heroes they decide to play, those should be locked in right now. And here we go into our first game of many. They kind of just said that they wanted to scrim for 2 hours, so I said I would cast them for 2 hours. So, on the left-hand side, we've got Gang Bang Gangarang, Rexpa on Vala, Celebrice on Rhaegar, Titan King on Stitches, Veteran Wings on Dahaka, Hedgie on Tassadar. On the right-hand side, we have Team B, Felix the Cat on Anubarak, Supreme Force on Lunara, Joyce on Illidan, A-Man on Ariel, and Focus on Greymane. So at this point, you'll probably see Illidan solo laning, Greymane solo laning. You'll run Lunara, Anubarak, Ariel in the mid. And then you'd probably have Dahaka solo laning. Then you'd run your Stitches, Vala, Rhaegar together and have Tassadar solo lane maybe? Or you could run like a 1-2-2. That's always, possible. But then again, if you just want that mid push. All right.
For battle, heroes.
Here we go. So at first level, we're going to see some of the standard picks coming out here. Tassadar is online. That's exciting. Hot Pursuit from Vala. We can probably assume it's going to be Nubarian Armor from Anubarak, but you never know. He could, for some reason, go... Oh, no, okay. He didn't go beta build. What a surprise. And then Enhanced Agility from... Stitches, I'm curious to see what he'll be actually picking up for his first talent. Because he is... I mean, you technically do have 2 off tanks. But you could build him tanky. I'm curious. Oh, looks like it's going to be the Slam Jam. And I think I actually missed it. I think I didn't say Titan King was on Stitches. That was my mistake. We are going to have an invade here. Stitches is getting in position. We do have the Vala flanking onto Anubarak, but he does have his burrow out, so he can be safe here. Greymane will just trade a little bit of damage with the Vala. We're going to see Tassadar rotating into bottom onto the Illidan. Tassadar's just going to play the safe game, laying up some experience. Illidan's just going to kind of get on him, and then he can just put a shield. Greymane is a little far forward here. He actually might get picked off by Titan King if he does get a proper hook. Oh, but the hook doesn't hit. Rhaegar's so close to getting that kill. If there was only a Hungering Arrow over the gate. We are going to see the Ariel Amon posted up in this bush, waiting just to see if maybe they can get a gank, knock someone into that wall. In top lane, we do have this matchup right here. I don't know if... that's going to be a little difficult for Dahaka, if I'm not mistaken. Mostly because of the fact that, we are going to have a converge onto Dahaka, but he will be playing safe by his gate. I think he did expect this because Lunara really started moving forward. Anubarak does miss the burrow. The whip does connect, but it keeps him actually a little bit safe. And Veteran Wings is going to have to kind of play the safe gate game while Illidan in bottom lane might get picked off here. He is rotating. He's trying to play safe. Okay. The team disengages. Tries to play it safe, make sure they have all their teams alive. They want to get collapsed upon because they do not see the other team at this point. And that is going to be the first shrine up, and looks like people are just going to lane a little bit more first. Looks like they're going to, in top, they're going to be getting rid of that front gate, and it looks like they're just going to start this in bottom because they do see 2 people having to rotate in from top lane, and they will not be coming in unless, well, they also see that Greymane and Anubarak have not come in yet either, but they can now. As you can see, they're kind of backing up a little bit, playing a little bit safe. They're going to see Ariel. They are going to get converged onto Celebrice, the Rhaegar. He does get whipped, but he doesn't connect onto the wall. Stitches is taking a ton of damage. Does he have a bite to keep himself alive? Titan King does fall. And that will be first blood of the game. And at this point, they get a pull onto the Greymane. There is a follow-up. He just walks away for the second time with just a barely bit of health. We're going to see just a little bit of side soak here. They're going to try and keep up with that little bit of advantage they got from that kill. But at this point, with the 27 well, 30 Skeleton Defender lead because of the fact that they started this so early in the late rotation from Lunara and Ariel. Illidan dives out, but he does get body blocked by the team, and he does have to dash out onto a friendly minion, but they are starting to do damage to him, so he is going to have to leave. Dahaka will take too much damage while Lunara gets pulled in, and that is going to be a 1-for-1 kill at this point. The Gang Bang Gangrang they got their Punisher, and they're just going to go ahead and just aggressively force Team B out of the lane. The hook does come out. It does not connect on Amun. He did predict that, I think, because he kind of rotated in an awkward direction. But they are going to have to just kind of forfeit at least this is a free gate. Granted, the Punisher it hops a little bit deeper, but they do save actually a couple of these towers. But Assassinar will come down and start to melt these. Meanwhile, in mid, Lunar is going to get pulled in. Nubrak will dive in, but just barely miss the burrow stun, but he does get his secondary off. Rhaegar puts down his totem to keep everyone fast and out. As we approach level 7, let's take a quick peek at some of these talents. We are seeing Stitches going into the full slam build. Looks like Vala is leaning more into her multi-shot build. Greymane is going to the full Gilneas cocktail. And looks like we have the Majestic Span, and they do have the increasing clarity. Okay. Nubrak is holding his 7 talent. We are going to see a couple of these camps picked up right now. Probably the Lunara gets ganked right away, but she does have the RL to keep her safe. There should be a whip right there. Greymane is down there, ready to fight too. He does get 2 stacks. We are going to see a little bit of aggression coming in here from Greymane. The team, this is a 4v3. The whip does come out on Stitches, but is there a hook to keep? Is there a hook to grab the Ariel? No, okay. There is none. The slam does come out, and they push up this lane up, but they do get the Greymane, who does not have disengage currently, and he gets annihilated. And this is perfect timing on the side of Gang Bang Gangrang because of the fact that the Shrine should be coming any second, so we'll be having to rotate back in from the core. They get a little bit of damage, but the whip onto the Vala. The shield is there to keep her alive, but Nubrak burrows to try and get damage on her. There is the healing totem to keep all their team alive. They push in a little bit harder, and it looks like they're going to have to just play the safe. They're going to have to back up here, get full, because the Shrine in top lane is too long of a rotation with that low health. They can clear this camp on the rotation up while Dahaka has pushed this lane up, so they do have a little bit of an advantage towards their 10s, but they're going to need a few more minion waves or a couple towers to get to their 10s. And looks like a lot of the teams are opting to soak as much as they can, so that way they can force for the 10. Dahaka will be in bottom with his NASCAR abilities. We are going to see Rhaegar stealing this camp right there, so that's going to be working out perfect. Dahaka does get that little minion XP. We're going to see Illidan is going to have to work with his minion wave, but it looks like at this point, no one wants to take the Shrine without having 10. Excuse me, never mind. Gang Bang Gangrang just started it, and it looks like they're going to, on the side of Team B, they're going to opt to just get this gate back off, have their 10s, so they can get in here. Illidan does have meta. We have the Curse Bullet, Aegis, Web Wrap, and there's the Leaping Strike. All right. So Rhaegar will push this lane up as best as he can before the team is going to rotate onto him. He does have the vision from that, but he did just use his dive to get in there a little bit deep, so he will have to use the slow, but he is going to get tackled by Illidan, and this is starting to turn for Gang Bang Gangrang. They do get the Immortal. They lose their healer. Illidan getting real sticky onto the Stitches, and Lunara, oh, the Gorge comes out deep in the backline, so he's able to body block the Force Wall from Tassadar, but he gets the meta out through Dahaka. The jump was actually baited. It wasn't baited over the wall, so they don't have that ability now. So, Gang Bang Gangrang, they can push in a little bit hard here with the Immortal. They are missing their healer, though, so they don't have the ability to have that much to stay in the fight, because there's the Greymane. With all that damage, Dahaka does burrow down. He does have his essence, but Illidan is a little too deep. He does get the kill on Tassadar, though, so that is no healer. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Rhaegar is here back in the fight. The Ancestral does come out. There is the hook on to Greymane. Nubrak does get killed by, I think, the Punisher? So we are going to see just about, for that entire engagement, about a 2... I forgot to even put my scores up. Excuse me. A 2-for-2 trade there. But that could change if Greymane is picked off here. He will just be walking away, hearthing back. And at this point, this is the part that I was talking about Dahaka. This is what I was talking about. He was in top lane. Everyone had to rotate back for health, whatever. He went straight into the lane, and he just got a fort for the Gangbang Gangarang. And with the ability with these two, they should be able to get this camp uncontested. Tassadar is there to work on his stacks. Meanwhile, actually, speaking of that, let's take a peek. We're about a third of the way through for Tassadar. Stitch is about, or Dahaka's about halfway. And looks like Greymane and Ariel are just finishing out theirs. We do have this aggressive rotation from the Stitches. He does get the hook onto Lunara. There is the Gorge. The Force Wall to disengage the entire team. The Web Wrap is there, so they have Lunara. She does try and get out, and she will be falling. There is the Rain of Vengeance onto Anubrak. There is the Whip also to help. Tassadar does get a Force Wall onto this Ariel. She will have to take the long rotation, but she will get out safe. Meanwhile, though, in top, Illidan is making short work of this fort. We are going to see Rhaegar going ahead and getting that camp as well. So they're creating on the side of Gangbang Gangarang. Actually, we're going to see this Dahaka rotated. And Illidan is going to dive over him. Vala is there. If he can just get the tongue, lock him down. There's a Vala damage. Does she have the Rain of Vengeance or the ball? Oh, the meta behind the wall. What a juke. And if I'm not mistaken, I think every team, well, actually, except for mid, doesn't have a gate. But at this point, this is where the Punishers really start to... They start to do a lot of damage. The hook out, but it just barely misses. We're going to see Dahaka in that top lane. He's going to be pushing up. Illidan does come towards him. He does not have meta at this moment. He's going to have to rely on that healing of the Ariel, but I don't know if she does Crystal Aegis herself, but she is put behind the gate. The Crystal Aegis then goes up. She doesn't have any way to get out. The gate wasn't even broken in time, and that is going to be a Nubrak falling as well. Lunara, if she gets tongued, the Greymane does try and distract a little bit. And it looks like, oh, just barely he got away from that hook. That is going to be... I don't know if they have the time to get back for this. It looks like they don't, so Greymane will be getting that camp up top. Lunara will probably push out mid with Illidan, and I think they're just going to have to give this one up. Unfortunately, because of the fact that they dropped two teammates right at the beginning of that. Dahaka is getting that top lane soak, but there is a possible convergence on him. He did see that camp was popped, so he does know to rotate away. In bottom, we're just going to see a little lane pushing, getting closer and closer to 16, spreading that XP even further. We're at just about a level here, level difference. Illidan does start to get a little sticky. He almost gets tongued, but he just gets right away. Punisher is up now. We're going to have to see a rotation out of Team B. I do not think that this keep gate is going to last, but that might be the only thing. There's this battle up on top happening, but this is going to be where the action is. Nubrak will try and bait the Punisher over. They will try and lead it over to their other keeps over this way, so that way they can get as much work. But they're going to make short work of that wall, try and get a hook onto someone, and if that Greymane connect happened, ooh, the Rain of Vengeance and Gorge. The hook, or the slam is there. They did actually take, I just noticed at 16, they did take Fishing Hook. So what they're going to do is they're going to take this gate. They're going to get a little damage. Nope. I was going to say they're going to take out their lane sustain, but that's not even going to happen. They're just going to play the safe game. They got the Punisher. They're pushing onto a keep in bottom. Definitely the next Punisher that goes down that lane is going to be taking that out. But then again, the next one could be also going towards Gangbang Gangarang. We hook the Fishing Hook just narrowly between all the heroes. We are going to just really quickly see Vala in the bottom lane. She will be getting that camp, which will be pushing up in time. I would not be surprised to see her rotate into that other siege camp as well, just to push that into mid. And then this camp should be up fairly soon. I lied. 2 minutes from now. I'm actually... We are... Okay. That's what I thought she took. Okay. So, pushing into mid very well here. What they're going to want to maybe do with their 16 advantage, they could force a fight. And then take a keep in bottom to get that catapult pressure. But nope, they're just going to go ahead and pick up an enemy hero. The Caltrops are there, but Greymane, he does get Aegis. There is the wall to protect, but another Caltrops comes down. Dahaka did... Oh no, there is another hook onto the Ariel. She does get locked down, and this is going to be a Nubrak falling. The horse wall wasn't even needed. Meanwhile, Illidan is in top, trying to soak for that 16 because this is the reason they could take... But Lunara, she tries to hop over, but the force... She got pinned in between the enemy team and a force wall, and it looks like they're going to be moving on to the core. The hook does come out into a drag, into a force wall. The meta's there, but it looks like they'll just be burning Illidan down even though he's in meta. And that is going to be GG. First game going over to Gangbang Gangarang. Alrighty, welcome back, and here we are in our second game of the evening of I don't know however many they want to play. we are going on to Dragonshire. It looks like Team B took the pick, so that looks like Gangbang Gangarang is picked Dragonshire here. All right. Instant Dahaka ban. Just like right out the bat, they said, you know what? We don't want this. No thanks. This was Infernal Shrines. So, since they do have first pick here, they can easily get, you know, they can go for the top healer. They can go for the most annoying assassin that's currently, you know, everyone's playing. So that, you know, they can go for the Anub'arak, they can go for the Genji. So trying to target ban one of those out is kind of hard at this point because the fact is just like, well, what do we not want to play against? Like, that's the real big question that you kind of have to ask yourself right now, because it's you can smother their healer choice, tank choice, assassin choice. Dragonshire, you could ban Lost Vikings. I would kill to see a Lost Vikings match. But we are going to see Falstad banned out, so we're just going to have a kind of a global ban right now. Dahaka was banned. So, first pick for Team B. They can just go for that Uther or that Anub'arak. I mean, the Anub'arak it's good to have that on your side. But then again, Bikini Tychus did come out today.
Abandons no man.
And there's that first Uther pick. That was, I mean, you're not going to first pick Tychus just because he has a really cool swimsuit today. But you can hope a little bit. On the side of Gangbang Gangarang, I'm interested to see what they would be going with now. So definitely need something that they can solo lane on the shrine. I don't know where Thrall kind of sits with his rework. He's kind of hit or miss with me when I play him, but he is a really good solo laner, and he does have that sustain. But if you just want to talk sustain, like the thing I always harp on, just get Sonya. Like, you can just pick up like Anub'arak Sonya as a first two pick and easily just have those two strong solo laners. Well, you know, you don't really typically have Anub'arak by himself, but you do have that strong 3-man for the mid. Genji is picked up, and I wouldn't be... Ooh, Genji into a Tassadar. Interesting. Because that pairs really well. Like, I never think to pick these things. I always think that just the standard draft. So that's going to be double healer on the side of Team B with the Vala battery. At this point, they might want to choke out the tank selection because of the fact that they definitely, I think they're building a comp around keeping Vala alive, and they're just going to have like 2 really strong tanks, and they're just going to roam and gank like that. At least late game, they definitely can, because Ariel, you know, she doesn't need to really take Crystal Aegis. You can, but you've already got the D shield. Or then again, you can flip those. You can take Crystal Aegis and have the D Storm. Because if you take Resurrect, I mean, you could basically be extremely like hyper aggressive with your Vala. She dies, 0.5 channel, she's back up. So definitely limiting like some of the utility that you can get out of a tank. So like if they're not going to take it, ban out the Anub'arak or the Stitches, because I think that's going to be something to be afraid of. So there's the Anub'arak ban. So on the side of Team B, they're going to need to choke out something too. So I wouldn't be surprised just to see another tank get pulled off the roster. A Stitches might be good here because of the fact that those hooks were pretty devastating, but they're actually going to focus on the Rhaegar, and the Rhaegar was extremely good last match too. Everyone played way better than I can possibly play, but I do think that the Rhaegar or the Stitches was extremely useful in the last match, and to kind of ban that out is really good. As well as, you know, they do need a main healer. I don't think they're going to solo support with just a Tassadar, so definitely banning out that Rhaegar is, you know, you've locked out the 3 best healers in the game right now. So you're forced into, all right, well, do we off-heal? I mean, if, I said it last match, like, you can take Lily. They do have auto attacks, so you can just blind that Vala, and she's completely useless. Okay, in the last 10 seconds, I'm curious what will be picked up. So we are going to see the Stitches here. And then maybe an Arthas? No! Can't forget about Lieutenant Morales. I mean, as long as she's in the back line and she's got shields from Tassadar at this point, yeah, I think she's going to be pretty useful, as well as Genji. If he's a little damaged, he can always just kind of dash towards her or front flip towards her. The last 2 picks coming out of Team B. Let's see. The last 2 picks, probably you're going to need your 2 strong healer. Well, you'll need your, not healer, tank and off tank. So even then, like, I have seen, like, Shen isn't horrible on this map. He works well. I think you could solo lane against, there's the Varian. And the Illidan again. Interesting. I wonder if they're going to hunt into the Morales. What would be really funny is if they just picked up Brightwing. Like, they don't need it, but if they picked up Brightwing just to polymorph Illidan every time he hunts in. Like, that would just be hilarious to me. But at this point, Greymane is still on the board. They could go with that, but then they would, you know, a single tank currently doesn't seem like it's like the meta choices is typically like tank, off tank, healer sometime, and then, you know, you've got a specialist or another healer, and then you've got 2 assassins. So I wouldn't be... A Li Ming here wouldn't be too bad to poke into those shrines. Li Ming or Lunara. They both... Lunara provides a little bit more with the vision, but Li Ming has the benefit of the resets. It's just, can you get enough resets off of a double healer comp like Uther and Ariel? That is the question I am wondering. Okay, so they're just going to take a Kael'thas. At this point, I don't think they would be going into... I'm just looking at Morales. Like, they wouldn't go stim drone, so they'd probably be going medevac, and maybe they're doing some sort of, like, backdoor? They might have that ability to do that backdoor, like, once they get to, like, 13, 16... It's a possibility, especially if KT leans into his convection stacks. I think the music was kind of perfectly timed with that. All right, on the left-hand side, we are going to have Gangbang Gangarang, Rexpa on Kael'thas, Caleb Reese on Lieutenant Morales, Titans King on Stitches once again, Veteran Wings on Tassadar, and Hedgie on Genji. That's fun, it rhymes. And with all the same portraits, we're going to have Team B, Felix the Cat on Varian, Focus on Vala, Amen on Uther, Yois on Illidan, and Supreme Force on Ariel.
Heroes, prepare for combat. Battle commencing in 10 seconds.
Alrighty, here we go. Into
5, 4, 3.
there we go.
2.
Into our game
1.
number 2. Just real quick, running down these
Let the
talents.
battle begin.
We're not gonna have convection out of Kael'thas. Boo. But it does not look like we are gonna have anything out of the ordinary. We are gonna have this engage. Looks like we're not gonna have. Oops. We're gonna have Stitches is getting a little low, getting body blocked a little bit, but that poly bomb, that chain bomb, just everyone has to spread back after that because you can't really stand around too long. Tassadar does have his Tassadar stack, so the more he gets, the better. And it looks like we're gonna have our rotation of Illidan in top, Genji, Stitches. Is there gonna be a 4-man between mid and bottom, and they're just gonna put Tassadar on top against the Illidan?
The ancient shrines awaken.
I think that's it. I think they're going to do a 4-man rotation between top and mid,
Dragon Knight.
and they're going to leave their Sassadar in top. Which, against the Illidan, I don't think he'll struggle too bad, mostly because of the fact of just sitting there with shields. And so the more Illidan just stands there and attacks him, the more he can just sit there and, as we're looking at it right there, just fill up on those stacks. And then he can just self-cast Alt-Q and gets a shield on himself. Is a pull from the Uther, but as I said, they are playing the keep the Vala game alive. The 3 of them, Vala will just never die. Especially because the fact that, ooh, maybe I spoke too soon. Genji took a chunk of health out of that Vala. We are just going to see Tassadar. He has the vision for this probably already with his trade of Oracle. Bottom will be captured, so they are going to have to just wait for this rotation on top of who gets the pick first or who rotates into the lane first. Felix the Cat playing real smart here, not letting the Chain Bomb do damage to his gate. Every little bit counts. The Shrine will be captured. Oh, but it will have to be backed up. The hook does come out. Barely misses the Vala. We're going to see that. Oh, man. It's every time I think, oh, Vala's going to die. Nope. Either Uther heals her or Ariel just heals her. And that has got to be the most annoying part about that comp. Because look at that. Kael'thas runs a combo on her, full health. Stitches does get the pull on to Uther. There is the... And he does fall. At this point, Uther is still healing, so they want to back off here, wait for the Uther to die. Tassadar is capturing top at this point. He has whittled down the Illidan enough where he does have to back off. Varian will have to back off of this rotation from mid. But it looks like at this time, bottom will be captured by the Vala-Ariel combo. And at this point, Genji just can't... Genji can't kill that Vala, and Morales does not have enough mana for that. I'm going to say rotation back out of Stitches. No, it looks like he's just kind of baiting this Varian a little bit. Kael'thas does get a combo onto the Vala, and she's going to get followed up maybe by Hedgie the Genji. Nope. There will be this contest in mid between the Stitches and Felix the Cat. I'm not sure, actually, Titan King and Felix the Cat. But at the same time, Felix the Cat has a ton. Oh, and we do see a combo actually finally hit that Vala. And so now it is just Ariel and Uther does not provide enough for Ariel to heal off of. And she actually doesn't even have the crown on him. So she... There it is, okay. We're going to see in mid that Stitches is pushing back the Varian. And at this point, we are going to have Genji rotating into mid. There is the hook onto the dash. Does he get the kill and the dash out? And that is going to be mid in control for Gangbang Gangerang. And with that control, they are going to start to soak a little bit faster. They do have their 7s already. KT getting that burned flesh. The cleanse does happen from Morales, but there is the contest. Stitches does already have to be here. Genji is in top. Push back the Illidan far enough where Tessadar can definitely take back over top. But with the Ariel, actually Ariel is in mid, so I don't know if Uther can just heal through all the damage. And Kael'thas, the Morales grenade, taking him out of position, spreading the bomb to the Vala, who gets captured, and the Stitches rotates right into him. Alright, and then we're just going to have everyone else walk away. The Ariel will be there to heal up, but that is going to be... The dragon can be channeled by Gangbang Gangerang. We're going to have Stitches, or Genji, actually, excuse me, Stitches and Genji trying to get onto this variant, but will he try and poke? He does have the Lion's Maw, but he could be standing around a little bit too long. He does stop them from channeling it, but does Genji once again get the dash kill? Oh no. And Varian just seems to be getting away. Tassadar is getting pushed in a little bit top, but there are a couple cannon shots to push back that Illidan. Bottom is being reclaimed, almost. They have to be really careful here with that Ariel. She is very low. She does not have much mana to heal with. Meanwhile, in mid, Stitches is there to protect before the enemy team can capture the Dragonite. And at this point, Vala is by herself, so if Kael'thas lands a combo and if Morales can get her out of the position with that grenade... Oh, the Genji's here, and I think she knows it. He has the dash forward, but he is just going to capture the point. Cancel out that ability for them to capture the Dragonite. Tassadar is really getting pushed in here, but at the same time, he's just sitting there building up those seconds of stacks. So while they get a little bit of an experience boost, Tassadar's getting a huge quest boost. Looks like Illidan will be rotating... No? Okay. I thought he was going to be rotating down into mid. We are going to have a rotation out of Genji. Illidan is really low here. The dash in from Genji, he does miss the first shuriken, but he gets the second, and it looks like that's going to be an easy kill. Genji can dash through this wall. They can cancel out the channel that Vala was trying to get, but the slam from Stitches canceled out. Morales will be down there with Kael'thas, so they can get this center point. Almost, if he got that hook on that Varian. It'd just be a little inconvenient. Plus, that rotation from Genji might have sealed his deal because there's no longer a gate for him to hide behind. In bottom, we see that Morales is just literally keeping Kael'thas alive forever, just like Ariel and Uther are. But Uther gets gorged. There is no healer. The slam does come out, and the Kael drops, and there's no... Uther just comes out almost in time to try and keep Ariel alive, but does not happen. Tens are there. The double whirlwind from Kael'thas does connect and holds the Uther and Varian. The slam is there. Genji is on the other side of the gate. He does get stunned out, but that is the D-Storm to keep him from moving out, taking too much damage. Uther gets killed by the chain bomb. Meanwhile, in mid, Tassadar is still soaking, so there's all those kills. 9 kills to 0, and Tassadar just walks over and says, yeah, I guess I'll take the dragon. So we are going to see this interesting play here. This is what I like to see. So you have your 4-man in the bottom. You've got the... Oh, I was going to say, you got the dragon in mid, so you have to split the focus from the enemy team, but he's just going to rotate the dragon in. Because my whole idea is that if you take the dragon mid or top, and then you take your team in the other lane, they have to respond to 1. So it's going to be weaker in their response either way. They either have to do 4 versus 4, or if they want to burn down the Dragonite faster, they have to, you know, they have to dedicate more people, and then it's still a disadvantaged fight. So you kind of force them to spread their team, but the hook almost connects, and with the 13 advantage and the team kind of death bowling with this Dragonite, they have to play extremely safe. Illidan is in top lane trying to side soak for that 13, but he's going to be... Okay, he does have Hunt, so it looked like he was about to come in, but I think he saw the rest of the team right there. There is the kick to get the Varian out of position. And this is going to be an easy... And there's the Morales. Oh no, Illidan So Illidan actually ended up hunting down to the Tassadar, juked out the entire Gangbang Gangarang, and Tassadar ended up dying because his team left him. Poor Tassadar. Morales is in this bush, scouting it out. Gonna play safe, rotate back through their camp. It looks like they're gonna be posturing up for doing the exact same thing. Oh, they're coming around. I don't think they know it. Stitches is there to capture. The Gorge is there, and I think that was on the Illidan. They are going to place him right by the fort. There is the lockdown instantaneously. He is over the wall, but the gate is shooting him. The Hook is out to try and make sure they get it. They do steal the camp, but they do lose their Illidan. The Dragon Becomes Me is used, and he's just slashing through. Does he have the ability to get out? Yes, he does. He can get right back in. Morales does have her ship just to get over. Genji, do you have enough health to get out? Morales actually gets over, and she ends up positioning herself and body blocking the Varian. Meanwhile, Ariel is getting killed. The chain bomb is just murdering this team. Genji, does he have a dash? No. They're going to play it safe. They're going to clean up their bottom lane, or their top lane. They're probably going to just reclaim their lanes, push closer to 16, get ready for that next Dragonite. On the side of Team B, they're definitely going to be wanting to do the exact same thing. They're going to want to work their way closer to 16, or to 13, so they're on at least an even talent tier, and then try and fight them at the shrines, get a couple picks, and win their lanes over before Gangbang Gangarang gets to 16. We are going to have this free for, and we are going to have a converge from Team B onto Team B, or onto Gangbang Gangarang. The hunt comes out onto the Kael'thas. Illidan is in the backline chewing up on that Morales. There is the taunt out onto the Stitches. The medevac is called. There is so much damage onto the Illidan. He does dash away. He gets out just alright. Morales is there to keep the Kael'thas alive. Bala is trying to pick them down, but Kael'thas turns around, gets a huge combo out onto the Uther, and it looks like the Dragon Blade will be starting to clean up. Illidan comes forward, but I think he didn't realize how many people were there. The Chain Bomb is there, and the Aegis is there to save him. The Force Wall, though, blocks him from getting out, and there's the Caltrops to, or excuse me, Caltrops, the, why am I blanking out on the name? Reign of Vengeance. But in that time when I figured out the one talent, they lost 2 more members. And at this point, it looks like Morales does not have her medevac. Actually, no, she does. I was about to say, she could just medevac right down to the point. Stitches can be waiting right there for the... actually, Assassadar would be perfect because of the way that he can get out of a team fight with just by hitting E. So by the time this Dragonite is approaching onto the keeps, we should see everybody up on the side of Team B, and they should be ready to defend. 16 talent here on the side of Gangbang Gangarang, so they do have that advantage, and Team B is going to want to play extremely safe in this situation. Genji is just linking up a little bit more. The Reign of Vengeance does come out, get the stun, but there is the combo onto the Illidan. And there was the Phoenix to deal so much damage while they just whittled that Illidan down. We are going to see this push onto the gate. Meanwhile, Morales will be... I was going to say, looking in the bush, or maybe... Oh, I think Morales was just showing... Not showing, so they went in for the fight, and they maybe could get a pick or two. Really smart. I've never seen that done. Stitches does have Gorge, so if he can get a really good hook here... If he can just get a last-second hook. Oh, that Uther, and is there the Gorge follow-up? The D-Storm does come out. Illidan does hunt onto that backline, but Genji's right back in there trying to help out, get that Genji right off of them. The Dragonite does turn around and starts to just deal immense damage, and with the Dragon Blade, that's 2 kills in a row. That's almost going to be 3. They turn around and they just move right onto that Ariel. There's the taunt onto the Genji, but it looks like they save the Ariel with it. Does Genji dash forward? She will get away. I think they're just going to be converging onto this core, and without their Vala for 15 more seconds, I don't think this is going to be lasting much longer. The GGs are thrown out, and that is going to be our second game of the night. All right, and welcome back. Here we are in our next game. All right, this will be our third and final game, at least for me tonight. I need to get outside. I've been inside all day, and I need to walk the dog too. Just want to change the score really quick. All right, just set that up for the next scene, and here we are. All right, so here we are on Battlefield of Eternity. So I'm interested. All right, so two-lane map. The Immortals are pretty much your main objective during the map, so you want to find someone who can really whittle down those Immortal health. So earlier in the previous stream, we saw someone utilizing a ban onto Vala to cripple the enemy team so they couldn't have the damage onto the Immortal, but it turns out the Lunara late game just melts heroes away. So they're going to go ahead and ban out that Uther. They don't want to deal with that the double healer comp again. They said, you know what? We're just going to ban it out. You don't get to use it. Oh, they juked me at the last second. They're going to ban out Li Ming. Okay. All right. I see you. All right. Cool. Nice one. Really good. I forgot to get water on that break. All right. Genji will be banned out here because he was quite the nuisance, and it was a real quick ban. They are ready. They are sure of that ban right there. And all right, on the side of Gangbang Gangerang, we are gonna see a first pick. I've seen first pick Greymane, but I don't know if that's the best. But they actually chose. Okay, so they chose their mind into the Li. They chose it to Li Ming, so that way they can pick up the Uther. I mean, it is a two-lane map. Could they go Cho'Gall? That's the real question of the day. Anubarak is picked up on the side of Team B. And that's going to be a strong tank, especially on this two-lane map. Greymane is a strong second pick. He's very good at burning down the Immortal, as well as he's just a good, strong solo laner, so you can just put him up against whoever Gangbang Gangerang gets to kind of push up that top lane, throw your Greymane in there, and then have your 4-man in bottom, or at least, you know, have a roaming squad of sort. But there is the Vala, who is extremely good at burning down the Immortal. And we're going to see a Tassadar again. So this Vala Tassadar, and they're going to go with the Anubis Tassadar skin. Oh, nope, Mecha Tassadar. They chose their mind. They made the right choice, though. All right, and on the side of Team B, we're going to have our second ban phase. Definitely because of the fact of that Stitches. I mean, 3 games in a row, I think you'd want, or excuse me, 3 games in a row. 2 games in a row, Stitches being picked. I think you'd want to ban him out just because you know he's probably going to be coming next, especially with the double stun. And there it is. There's that ban on Stitches. So they got rid of the Genji and they got rid of the Stitches. But you kind of have to expect that on the side of Gangbang Gangerang. If you play it twice in a row and you get some hooks and gorges that just sway entire team fights, it's definitely what they're going to be trying to get rid of. Second ban for them, choking out some of their support. I mean, they have the Uther Tassadar currently, so they could just go ahead and easily ban out the Ariel. But then again, I don't know, last time I said something, they literally juked me at the last second. So I'm curious to see. I hope they stick with the Ariel, because I think that's a good choke ban for them. Rhaegar's okay, but I think Ariel might be a little bit better, with especially the way that everyone's going to be kind of grouping up around the Immortals. She does have a little bit better of an AoE heal. Rhaegar's is a chain, so it obviously has to hit everybody. And that's going to be the Ariel ban. Cool, cool. All right, last pick phase. We are going to see right away Artanis and Rhaegar on this map. This is a very similar draft that we saw earlier today, I believe. I think Regen played this almost exact same draft. It's just different order of picks. All right, and the final 2 on the side of Gangbang Gangerang is going to be a Cho'Gall. Please. I'm really hoping that it is. Because, I mean, they have to be picked in tandem. It's an amazing last pick. I mean, Artanis does have Titan Killer and stuff like that, and Greymane does have a percentile based? Yes, he has Cursed Bullet, so never mind. Cho'Gall probably won't work too well here. Then again, if you just go D-Shield Cho'Gall, that's just terrifying. But I doubt it. It's something more realistic. You're probably going to see like a Leoric, and a Tyrael wouldn't be too bad. We're going to see Sonya and Arthas. I couldn't have been more off. The one hero I have been talking about a lot tonight, Sonya, is finally picked up. So we are going to see that. Probably going to see her take Wrath of the Berserker, mostly because of the fact of just how it works on the Immortals. She can just sit there and forever get that bonus damage as long as she's hitting and spinning. And then Arthas is just always a good tank choice, just because at this point he lives forever. Like they definitely did a good job when they fixed him. He's in a pretty good spot at this point where he can be a viable tank. Last pick out of Team B. They've got a double tank. They've got a good burn. I wouldn't be surprised to see a ranged assassin. Lunara wouldn't be too bad here. The poison would be pretty good, especially against the Immortal late game. The bonuses that you get, and as well as like if you can just swap and then like a leaping strike, even a Thornwood Vine would work perfectly here too. But I definitely think that Lunara is a viable choice. And it's gonna be Tychus, but it's not even the right skin. Like, that's not even the skin, the Summer Beach skin. Like, come on now. But still, all in all, draft wise, I like the way that Team B basically said, you know what, these are the two picks that you did well with. We're going to get rid of those. And I think putting them on something a little bit different is going to be interesting, just to see like someone like, for example, Hedgie, I just noticed is on Sonya. So going from a Genji to Sonya, I don't know how that translates. Then again, I mean, this is a little bit higher of a tier play than what I play. I mean, we've got... Yeah, I mean, I see the stats afterwards and I go, I don't think I can ever reach this. Oh, and someone already said, I love the way you say gangbang gangerang. Well, then maybe you should just change your official Summer Bash team name to that. Please actually do. I don't know if you can. I can. But on the left-hand side, we're gonna have Gang Bang Gangerang, Rexbon Vala, Titan King on Arthas. I'm gonna have to say this as we load in. All right. Veteran Wings on Tassadar, Hedgie on Sonya, and Caleb Reese on Uther, sorry. Switch this over to there. Cool. And on the right-hand side, we're going to have Team B. We're going to have Felix the Cat on Anub'arak, Focus on Artanis, Amen on Rhaegar, Joyce on Greymane, and Supreme Force on Tychus. So they're going to go for that standard mid-rush. Definitely going to go for the gate. It's extremely popular. It's a wonderful Chinese meta. You've never heard of it. But we are going to see that actually in the bottom lane, we're going to have our solo laner as Artanis, and we're going to have in the top, we're going to do... That's a pretty scary matchup. But they are going to go ahead and just cheese out this tower. They're going to force the rotation from the Gangbang Gangerang. But Sonya will spot out the Anub'arak was really, really good to basically scout out exactly where they were coming in. Blocked him from getting onto the softer people. Oh, but looks like Tychus falls a little bit behind. He does have his dash out. He will be fine. There is the stun onto Anub'arak. He will have to back away and tap. Well, the Greymane does have his disengage, but he gets locked down. Anub'arak comes in to try and save him, but it's only going to be his death, potentially, and he gets right out. Meanwhile, in bottom, Artanis is just slowly working on these forts. And that's, you know, that's the nice thing. I mean, he whittles it down a little bit, so he is doing extremely well there. Sonya was just there for a couple 2 seconds because of that slowing totem. And with that, looks like Uther will have to rotate just to make sure Kael'thas, or no, Tassadar. But it looks like he's going to be laning safe. Meanwhile, in bottom, they're going to see this 3-man rotation top, so they're going to push in real hard, and they're just going to say, all right, you know what? Your Artanis will stun him mid-dash and potentially get a kill? Oh. And in top, we're going to have the Sonya. She is back. So Tassadar and Sonya are comboing, pushing these guys back. But they... Ooh, Nubrak went in for the burrow, but it was a little too far. But they did get the gate. And it looks like they're going to be doing the same thing in bottom. So we're going to have... It's almost like a gate rush at this point. We're going to see the rotation from Team B. It looks like they're going to be pushing. I don't think this Vala knows what she's getting into, but she's going to rotate right past them. But Titan King is all by himself, and he is going to get collapsed upon. Uther was just barely behind him, so it looks like we're just going to have an Immortal race at this point. But at the same time, Vala and Tassadar were on this Immortal first, so they do have about a 1,100 point difference. So it is going to be a little bit easier on the side of Gangbang Gangrang to get their Immortal, but we'll see. It's a 5. This is just a all the way rush. And it looks like it's going to be really... Oh, man. With that Tychus, I think that's going to be extremely hard to race. At least... now, I don't know. Well, Vala still has to explode with her Q build. She just about got her 4. She is going to be in the top lane, getting that split soak experience, keeping that Arcanus back. We're going to see a 4-man in the bottom. Titan's King is going to get caught out here. It looks like he'll be just barely okay. Uther will keep him alive. Vala will be pushing back this Immortal with just her range damage. Tassadar doing the exact same. He is getting a lot of stacks off of just people standing here, but at the same time, he's got to melt down this Immortal. We are going to see that we have... Sonya's actually, by the way, in top, just pushing back extremely hard. There is the root onto the Rhaegar, and he gets locked down. And this is starting to turn around. Nubrak does turn around to get the stun out, but it does not. Greymane doesn't get out, and is there... Okay, they don't engage any further. They're going to soak up their experience a little bit further. Arcanus does get the swap onto Sonya real quick. And this is going to be... this fort's going to take a little bit of damage. I don't think they can force themselves too far onto it. Nubrak does have to go all the way back to get full, though. So until I think they see a second member, they're just going to push in. And meanwhile, Tassadar's just going to sit here and laser the man who puts down the laser. Vala is going to kill that sidewall, which prevents a little bit of vision for the enemy team. They are going to back off here. People are a little low on mana. Uther is a little bit low, but there is going to be this... They did think about going there for a second, but I think they're going to have to give that up. Meanwhile, in top, looks like we're just going to have... The laning has just been the most interesting matchup. I think they've just been laning the mid, backing up, laning the mid, backing up. Greymane will get that Gilneas cocktail out, and it does provide a little bit of vision beyond that wall when he sprays it like that, so he does know if anyone's hiding there. They're going to try and push into Gangbang Gangrang, try and get that fort, give them a little bit more experience with this. Nope, they're going to actually rotate, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and get their hard camp, time that out with the Immortal, which should be spawning quite soon. Yep, there it is. I was going to say, it's 1:45, so I feel like it was just about. Sonya can take that camp in top, but I don't think she wants to deal with Artanus potentially swapping her off at that point. She will just wait for her team to finish up this and probably rotate into them once this top wave pushes into her. Wants to make sure she's playing extremely safe here so that way she doesn't get picked off. She is rotating by herself onto her Immortal, but there is the Anubrak with the stun. Greymane did actually not engage onto... They're actually diving, and they're giving up a significant amount. But at this point, we are about 450 some away from just an even matchup. 60 some actually. But anyways, I don't think they can race this. They're going to try to, but that is that Tychus and that Greymane. They're just completely melting down these Immortals. They did let this go, but at the same time, they did guarantee the fort. They will probably lose this. Greymane can just easily throw Gilneas cocktail, get that out of the way. Or Nubrak can just use his stun. Or just tap it once with his beetle arm. Yep, there it goes. But at the same time, while they do guarantee that one fort, they could have maybe sent just one and pushed into this a little bit harder, because I don't know if they're going to be able to actually guarantee this fort right here. They are going to leave with their Vala to take care of it. Arcanus could push into it, but they do want to protect this heat gate, and it looks like we have the 10 advantage on the side of Team B. Gangbang Gangrang, they need to get a couple kills here, but with that 10 advantage, that's not coming out of my mouth, right? With that 10 advantage, they will not be able to, fight too well here. So they're gonna have to get that backline soak. Meanwhile, they're just gonna move up a little bit further with their experience, guarantee another fort. And Team B is coming alive right now. They are really pushing into Gangbang Gangrang. You're going to see them, and they're just really going to take this. They're going to take advantage of that 10 advantage. Get this keep gate, maybe even push into their well a little bit. They're going to have to disengage. The 10 is right on the cusp. They do not see the whole team. They just see Arthas in bottom. Looks like Arthas is, though, spotted on the map. He is called out, so it looks like he's going to hearth. By the time he hearths, he should be fine. They will not find him. Meanwhile, though, in top, they will be Gangbang Gangrang will be getting this camp, which will be able to push into this fort, potentially giving them a little bit of extra push when the next Immortal phase starts quite soon. But at the same time, they do need to clean up this bottom push because it is just going to go straight up against a keep. They're going to guarantee this gate, and I think at this point they are ready. I don't know why they've raced just the first two, and because I don't think they have a better racing comp, in my opinion. They can know something I don't, but at this point we're going to see the Immortal is started for them. There's help called out. There is the dive and the swap onto Titan King. The web wrap goes out, and this is just... Oh, their Vala is out, so the damage is here. There is the huge stun out. The Ancestral does not connect. Artanis does try and get a dash and get a little bit of extra damage out. The Odin is there trying to chunk down some of these heroes, but they're just so low. That is going to be the fall of a Nubrak, and that is potentially, if she gets just an... Oh, but he does with his dying breath. He gets the Ancestral out onto him. And with those 3 kills, though, it is going to be definitely almost a full shield Immortal for the side of Gangbang Gangrang. They're going to send it Tassadar back to just push this out. And I mean, wow, they came back real quick. So the best Team B at this point they can do is they can just race down the shields on this Immortal just to make it a little bit easier, as it's going to be pushing into that fort. It's not going to be pushing as much as how some of their stuff is going to be pushing into if they get the next Immortal against Gangbang Gangrang, because of the fact of a small stun. There is a swap, but the wall actually pushes them out. Uther does take a huge significant damage, but he is keeping Titan King alive. There is the web wrap onto, I think it was the Vala. Nope, she's actually dead. It has to be Sonya. Okay, she does pop her excuse me. Her Wrath of the Berserker does not really keep her alive against 5 people. But, I mean, 2 picks, and they, I guess, yeah. I was going to say they gave up a fort, but they definitely are going to be able to burn this thing down quite quickly. But will they lose the fort is the big question. They do get stunned out, so I think, yes, they will. No way they save it. With just a sliver of health. I moved away thinking they had that. Alright, well, with the 13 advantage on the side of Team B, let's just take a quick peek at the talents just to see where everyone's standing right now. Vala's about halfway through her quest. Uther's almost done with his, but everyone else seems to be about halfway. The Cocktail is still just about a quarter of the way done, so he's got quite a bit to go, but they want to get this fort. They say, you know what? We're going to even up the structures. You guys got a gate, but at least we'll have even structures. You don't get a fort either. They are going to have to push back a little bit here. Vala will just start this camp just to give them a little bit more lane pressure. But meanwhile, they are distracting Team B from that bottom lane push, and that will eventually get extremely difficult. There is the Cursed Bullet, the stun onto the D-Shield onto the Sonya, who's just spinning, rather the Berserker. The Ancestral does come out, but there is the huge Rain of Vengeance, and in these tight corners, this is where Vala really starts to explode with some of those stuns. And meanwhile, they did get the camp, so it's sitting there attacking the enemy team. Vala did fall here too. Uther should be able to get the kill. Tychus is dealing as much damage as he can with that Odin. They will dodge the stun. There's the course bullet onto that Uther, and he took a significant, but the slam jam onto that Greymane flew across the map. And this is when I think they definitely are going to say, we get our fort. The one we've been trying to get for the past minute and a half. But in this time, this gave the time, I was just about to say, the Immortals are just about to be back up. And they let this go, so it almost guaranteed an entire keep gate. And also, because of the fact that they stagger their deaths, Greymane isn't up, so they can't race this very well. So what's Gangbang Gangering, they have put themselves in an extremely good position, because even then, they have this switch right now. But if they respond to a team fight, then they're giving up this top lane pressure, and that's going to be more damage onto a different gate. Let's see how Team B handles the situation. Looks like they're going to be zoning. Tassadar does have the range from his auto attack. They have to play extremely safe here. 16s are on the cusp, so a couple kills could sway an entire battle and change the game completely. But Vala will go straight in. Sonya does use her Wrath of the Berserker. Greymane is hiding in the bush. Sonya is in that backline. They are trying to get this Immortal, but the Cursed Bullet goes on to the Sonya, the Force Wall, to save her. She is at barely any health. The blind does come out. There is the stun. Sonya just has no health. She could get an auto attack. She could spin. The Ancestral does come out onto the Greymane, and that's the couple kills that they needed. Or excuse me, the kill that they needed. That forced them back. They're going to have to play extremely safe here. They're going to have to leave at least a couple people by their Immortal, but they can send the Tychus and the Greymane to start whittling down this Immortal down here. That looks like they're going to dedicate a little bit more. They're just going to put Greymane and Artanis. They're going to leave the Rhaegar Tychus. They just need to get a little bit of damage, but at the same time, Greymane and Artanis, they're starting to whittle this thing down. Vala is getting zoned out so hard here, and Sonya will be up in a couple seconds, but Tychus is turned around, and he is on that. Oh, but will Vala get in and get the damage? And she does, and they end up stealing the Immortal from Team B. Titan King is really low here. He could fall, but he does get the healing from Uther. There is the stun onto the Rhaegar. He does get force walled out, but Uther ends up falling at this point. The dead Uther heals are pretty good. They are keeping Arthas alive as best as he can. The force wall does come out to separate them. There is the Sonya spinning on the backline. That Greymane does fall, but at the same time, Tassadar does too. She turns around, and then they get a pick on the Artanis. If she can get... Well, also, while all this is happening, we have another Immortal pushing that top wave. With that, with 2 down, a 3v3, the Vala is there. They don't have the heals that they need, like Team B does with their Rhaegar, so they have to play extremely safe. So they're going to play this backline really easy. Meanwhile, I guess the lanes are just going to put... Oh, if they got that stun, that was about to be one dead bug. We are going to see the Ingrassian Totem. I was wondering if they were going to grab that. Okay. We do have the Nerves of Steel from Sonya. We have the Manticore from Vala. And it looks like there's just going to be the Rush 220 at this point. We're going to see both the camps are going to be picked up. Looks like they're just going to be... They're also spreading their team a little bit more thin, whereas Team B, they're running as a tight group, and Gangbang Gangrang, they say, you know what? We're going to spread out a little bit. We're going to get 2 camps, push the bottom lane at the same time, then rotate up because we know where you're going next. It pops right there, so they know to rotate into top, but they're actually going to... Nope, they're going to rotate into top. Look to get a couple kills, maybe just de-push this lane. And it looks like they just sent minions, and then they just rotated to go clear minions. They just gave each other something to do, basically, until the next Immortal pops. So at this point, with 17-17, all heroics are up. You know, just about almost all of the quests are done too. Greymane's just 2 away. Vala's like 5 away. So we're getting really close. Arthas is really close too. So we're about to see both of the teams are really about to get to their full potential, especially within 2 levels, for 2 to 2.5 levels. All right, we do have Felix the Cat in this bush. He might get spotted out. There might be the root onto him. He does have the burrow. There's the stun. There's the second root. He does get out, but there is the suppression pulse, but it does not have any follow-up. So the blinds are there, 44 seconds. He does not have that ultimate. They are playing extremely defensively. Tassadar has that Oracle, but you see how he just melts away that bug. The swap is there on Uther, and he is going to get completely collapsed. He does have to pop the D shield. There is the Ancestral already, which might have been a misclick. I didn't see anyone get really low. Artanis is getting low himself now. There is the root from Titan's King, but he rotates back into his team to get a little bit of healing from the Uther, but that is going to be a Tassadar falling. There is another... Oh my god. They are just falling left and right. Vala is making mincemeat out of the backline, and they are just chasing. The Anubrak gets the stun out, and it keeps him alive. I was sure that... Oh, he misses the swap. I was thinking when he was hearthing in this bush over here that he was going to get caught out by accident. But even then, they have lost their Tassadar and Arthas, but they still have Vala, which is probably one of their top damage dealers to this Immortal, which is extremely good for them. So they have the time. They're going to send the Vala back. She's going to get full mana, rotate in. Uther will soak that side lane, trying to get a little bit closer to 20. This does give the ability for Team B to come back a little bit here, kind of regroup, but they still have at least 8 seconds till their Greymane is up, and then, you know, he still has to rotate into the area. So it's going to be still another 10 seconds till Greymane is there ready to fight. Looks like we're going to have the Suppression Pulse again. They're just trying to buy a little bit of time for that Greymane and that Tychus to get there, but they will get this. This is going to be a full shield Immortal. The Oracle is there. The Curse Bolt does go out. Sonya does pop her ultimate. The Force Wall is there. She gets the spin. She does get Web Wrap, though. She cannot spin anymore. The Ancestral is there on to Artanis, but Greymane is too far into the backline. He can't get out, and Tychus does fall too. There is no one else to melt some of these tanks. Rhaegar is also falling, and this is going to be the turn that Gangbang Gangrang needed. It looks like they're going to forego all this in top because of the fact they do have 20s already. Tassadar does have this psychotic prismatic link, and we are going to see the anti-shield from Arthas. We're going to feel no pain from the Sonya, and Uther will take his redemption. There is the blind to kind of buy a little bit more time. There is the Force Wall. The GGs are thrown out, and it looks like this core will be falling. They're not even going to let the Immortal finish the keep first. GG's, well played by both teams.